Hello, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello, my name is Chloe Taylor, and on this channel, I believe that we have the most cozy, autumnal, vibey corner of the internet. No matter what time of year it is fall all year long here. So if you like that, if you like my style of reading, my vibe, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Pumpkin Patch. We have a great community here. And before we get into today's reading, which is all going to be career guidance, maybe a little bit of abundance guidance as well, I do want to let those of you that are unaware know that I do have a Patreon link down below where if you want to support my channel further, that is available to you. I do exclusive readings over there. There's weekly energy updates. There's journal prompts, bonus content. It's a really fun place. I'm putting new stuff out every single week, and it's a great way to support me as a creator to keep putting free content out here like this. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Get yourself some extra content. Again, that link is going to be down below for you. And let's talk a little bit about this reading. So like I said, this is going to be career and abundance focused more than anything else. And we're just going to see kind of where you are right now. And then we'll see kind of where you are headed. Now, I will say this, if you're somebody that is not like wanting a career, is not career focused, this might not be the reading for you. Now, obviously, if you're here for abundance, we're going to talk about that. But just as a reminder, like if you're somebody that isn't like wanting to have any kind of career, like this just might not be that one for you. But I do feel like regardless, like there will still be messages that come through from your spiritual team. And especially in terms of like abundance and stuff. I just feel like I often get, whenever I do these readings, it's like, I just want to live in a cottage with my dog. I don't want to work. And I'm like, yo, why did you come to a career reading if you don't want to know about your career? So just putting that out there, that is the theme for this reading that I am pulling from. So just be advised as you're going in. But for choices, we have this first pile, which is going to correspond to this eye with this kind of like symbol around it with a couple of arrows. We have the hand here with a bunch of symbolism. And then we have another eye here that's inside of a couple of pyramids. Or I want to say that this shape right here is actually something that I cannot remember the name of to save my life right now. But it is some kind of spiritual symbol that I see a lot. I know I've heard the name of it too, and I'm pretty sure I even know what it means, but it's escaping me right now. But you can choose based off of the imagery. I will give you some time to meditate with the cards as well. You can also choose based off of the timestamps or emojis that are with the timestamps. A lot of people will do that. Use timestamps, like if you see your lucky number present, often that's like a really great way of picking if you're unsure. The other thing I want to say is never feel like you can't choose more than one. If you feel drawn to two piles, choose two piles. If you feel drawn to all three, feel free to listen to all three and then make your final judgment on which one was yours at the end. A lot of people do it that way too. There's no wrong way to do this. And if not every single card is like spot on for you, like I said, I really do set the intention with these readings that there will be something in there for you, some wisdom from your spiritual team that you needed to hear. So there's still something in here for everyone regardless. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and quiet up and turn the meditation music up for about a minute or so and just give you some time with the cards to make a selection. All right, pile number one. If you chose this pile, I am reading with reversals today. It's not something I always do, but I feel like this deck, and I will link every deck that I use today down below in the order that they appear. But this deck, I feel like, is one of my more like honest decks. And if we are here for a lot of honesty, I always read this one with reversals because I feel like it gives very accurate, like, I don't know if y'all knew that, but decks have different energies, and this one is very honest and sometimes a little scary. If I'm not ready for a lot of honesty, then I don't pull this one out, but I felt like it was what the collective needed today. So for you, we have the reverse Page of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Magician, and the reversed Hierophant. And what I'm getting is for where you are right now is number one, I feel like many of you are very dissatisfied with your current financial situation, and you feel like maybe you've hit a dead end with that. And I say that because the reversed page is usually in its upright. We have this like, oh, we're on a good trajectory. We have some good ideas on how to make money, and we're going to move forward with that if we're talking about career and finance. But having it reversed here, I feel like you're really at a loss. You feel like maybe there is a lot of wasted potential happening for you right now, especially next to a King of Wands. I feel like the King of Wands is definitely the energy of, especially next to a reversed page, we have this like, I have so much potential. Why is nobody taking notice? Or like, no matter what you're doing, if you're into entrepreneurship, if you're into a career, if this is your abundance speaking, I feel like many of you feel like you have this like fire and passion inside of you that you're at this point that's actually a good thing. It doesn't, I mean, hear me out. Hear me out before you run away. It's not good because granted, you know, you don't feel satisfied and we hate that for you. But I feel that there is this dissatisfaction, but it's good because it's actually driving you to do something else. And this doesn't necessarily look like a huge career change to me. It looks like there is well, I mean, for some of you, yes, I do feel like this is potentially a career change or a change in how you've been doing things. Because then looking into the future, we have the Magician here with the reversed Hierophant. The Magician to me says you have every opportunity coming into your awareness right now. Like there is a lot of opportunity coming your way. You're going to be able to dream up the perfect career or financial opportunity for yourself, and you're going to dream it into being. And I feel like any of you that don't feel like it's for you or it's possible for you or that is kind of part of what is holding you back, because with the reversed Hierophant, this is like dismissing the status quo, dismissing how we do finances. This could even be as big as like just dismissing how we do finances in the world in general and just being very dissatisfied with it. And you are actually here to see it happen in a different way. You're being given this opportunity, this, I hate to phrase it this way because I feel like it can come across as very like toxic positivity, and I'm not trying to give you that, but it's almost like this is kind of unearthing for you a opportunity to where you will do things differently than how you have witnessed others. Meaning, like, if you've witnessed others hustle, grind 24/7 in a side hustle, that's not how you're meant to do it. If you've witnessed people climbing a corporate ladder, that's not how you're meant to do it. You are somebody that really dismantles the status quo and says, no, I'm going to do this how I want to do it, because I can, because I create the vibration that I end up witnessing and I end up living in. And so I feel like for you, pile number one, this unrest is a good thing because it is showing to you that it can be different, that you don't have to accept what has been, even on like a grand scale. This to me is like, I mean, anytime there's a King of Wands, I feel like it's like big dick energy. Like it's big boss energy too. Not necessarily like the Emperor, but especially if we're not willing to go with the structures that we've seen in place before. And granted, I do feel like globally, depending on where you're watching, this is going to hit you differently. I can only I'm obvious. Well, no, I can channel from another perspective, but I do feel like as a reader based out of America, like we see what's going on here and how the structure isn't working. But I feel like even if you're somebody else and the structure system is different, I feel like there is this desire to do it differently, to not be like what you've seen, what you've witnessed, and what you've had. And the reason for that, like I said, is because you are meant to see it manifest differently for you. And I think that honestly, you're in a really great timeline for yourself in the sense that you have the ability to tap into it. You have the ability to rise strong and decide what you want and go for it. And again, this is not like I keep hearing this message that like you feel like you have to hustle and grind to make something happen. And actually that's not true. Because the Hierophant, if this was upright, I'd be like, yeah, you got to get some consistency. You got to do some of that. But no, this is actually the where you're like, whatever you feel passionate about. If you have been waiting for an answer on something, if it feels like something that puts a fire in you to do it, that's what you need to be doing right now. There is no, should I do it? Questioning it. It's do what feels passionate to you. And that is what is going to bring in that financial windfall. That is what's going to bring in the career of your dreams, is following what you actually like doing, and not just, oh, I'm going to accept this part of my job that is really fun and interesting and I hate this part. No, only focus on the things that you love. If there are parts of it that you hate, put those more on the back burner. Do the parts that you love first. And now we also have for you Step Out of Your Comfort Zone, North Node. And we have A Fiery Climax Approaches. And we also have Be Bold and Make the First Move with the Cardinal Moon. So beautiful, beautiful. Okay, like I said, not everybody is this going to be entrepreneurship. I know that many people are in jobs that maybe you want to go to a different department or something of that nature. But I do feel like stepping out of your comfort zone, this is probably the number one thing that is keeping you where you are. Is it's comfortable, it's familiar, and you're scared to make changes. And that's totally normal. Totally normal. I think in the way that we have experienced life up to this point, it is totally normal to be afraid of change. But know that from that change, even if we take small steps, is going to be your way forward. And something is going to abruptly shift here. I don't think this is like, again, you're going to get fired or something like that. I don't think that. I think ultimately you do have to start stepping out onto your own, because not only be bold and make the first move with the cardinal moon, Aries is a cardinal sign. In astrology, if you're not familiar, there is the mutable, cardinal, and fixed signs. Fixed signs are going to be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Cardinal signs, I want to say, are Aries, Cancer, Libra. Who's the other one? I think it's Capricorn is the other cardinal. And then with mutable, we have Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces. So the cardinal signs, as I mentioned, are usually the ones that they tend to take on the helm of things, and kind of like, not the way that Aries, I feel like, really take, like, if there was an ultimate cardinal sign, I feel like it would be Aries, just because they are extremely headstrong. Like, that's just part of who they are. But I feel like with this fiery climax approaches and a cardinal moon, this is saying it's time for you to take some kind of action. There is no more sitting, wishing, waiting, meditating. I feel like maybe that's what you've been doing. And don't get me wrong, I think that very much is a part of your process, is getting very clear on the vision. But I think that for you, it's actually time to start doing something. There is no more research that needs to be done. There is no more, like, many of you are getting stuck in this loop of, oh, but I have to like know it better to avoid anxiety or to avoid worry or messing up. And we are beyond that now. It's time to actually start putting things into action, because again, That I feel like has been your biggest struggle right now, is there's a lot of untapped potential because you're not using it. So it's time to actually start doing something with that potential. And even if you don't know where the road in front of you is going, because I immediately heard this like, but I don't know what my potential is. I don't know what my gifts are. I don't know what my talents are. First of all, talent is a lie. Nobody is born talented. I don't care what anybody says. And there's like actually a lot of research that has gone into this. And talent, like I love using the example of Mozart, because Mozart was literally in piano since he was like a baby child. And that was why he was able to like hone and refine the way that he did. I know that movie Amadeus makes us all believe that he was naturally gifted, and he was not. He actually had like really strict parents that put him in that to make him a composer. And it's something that's built over time. And I think there is this big collective lie of you have natural gift and talent and you're supposed to be using that. And don't get me wrong, I think we can have an affinity towards things. Like we can get excited and inspired about things, and that naturally can lead us to picking up something faster. But ultimately, being born with talent to me is a lie. Like it's this weird thing that we've told society and told the collective, when in reality, it's usually a lot of hard work and dedication to something that makes somebody talented. And you have that ability to do that too. You just need to decide what feels good, what feels like you could do it all day, every day because you enjoy it. And if you don't know what that is yet, you have the most beautiful opportunity of everybody. You have the blank slate, and that means you can try anything out and see what feels good. So I just immediately got this intuitive hit of like a bunch of people being like, but I don't know what that is. Like you have to start taking some steps to figure it out then. That's where we at. We also have for you the card of sacrifice that says sometimes surrender is painful. The universe is cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. Ooh, we'll talk about that one in a second. And then we also have intuition. Each person's road to the inner universe is extraordinary and personal. Excuse me. How liberating to listen inside and sense a moment to moment when what? Ugh, let me read that again. Each person's road to the inner universe is extraordinary and personal. How liberating to listen inside and sense moment to moment what is needed. So I feel like this is what you're being asked to do right now is number one, strengthen that intuition, boo. Like your intuition is hot fire flames, and it's time that you actually start listening to it, especially in the heart. With this heart imagery, I'm really seeing that some people get intuitive hits in different places. And, you know, for some people it's their gut. They say, I have a gut instinct. Some people, you get it right in your third eye. I feel like for you, this is very heart-centered. You can tell when something is right for you because your heart will feel like it kind of swells, and in a positive way, not in like a scary way. It feels good. It's like when you look at somebody and realize how in love with them you are, if it's a person or an animal or what have you. Like it's that same feeling of looking out in nature and experiencing something extraordinary. It's that feeling that will kind of come up, and that's your intuition speaking to you. It's goosebumps. It's the hair raising on the back of your neck. I know sometimes people think that that's like a scary thing, but it doesn't always have to be. It's goosebumps. It's tingles. It's, you know, everybody has different ways of recognizing their intuition, and yours might be specific, but I do feel like your heart really does know. And you just need to come to a place where you can listen instead of immediately feeling something and then questioning that feeling. I think that is what I'm hearing is the hardest thing for you, is whenever your body does some kind of sensation that would be your intuition, you're questioning it right away instead of just, hey, I kind of got the tingles when I felt about this thing. Let me try something, instead of just questioning it to death. That's really where I feel like there's just really something there for you. There is something beautiful wanting to be opened up in terms of your career and abundance. With sacrifice, I hate this word. I'm not going to lie to you. And that's because I have my own weird attachment to it. Like, as a child, I used to be told a lot that I didn't sacrifice. even though like I was born disabled and there was a lot of sacrifice. That's a whole other story for a whole other time. But sacrifice, it doesn't have to be sacrificing yourself. It doesn't have to be sacrificing your needs. I feel like the word sacrifice has gotten really tainted over the years. Sacrifice can actually be just sacrificing maybe a little bit of your time. Sacrificing, like when we say yes to something, we are always saying no to something else. And this also brings me back to in a past reading, I mentioned something about when you are not committing to yourself, committing to a project, committing to an idea, or committing to like routine changes or something, you are not committing. You're also committing to chaos instead. And you're always committing in every moment. And it's kind of that same, when you're not saying yes to something, or when you are saying yes to something, you are saying no to something else, even if you don't realize it. And I feel like with sacrifice, I'm getting a lot of like, we say that we don't have enough time, but we spend a lot of time watching TV, sitting and watching YouTube for hours on end. There's a lot of times where we do have time, we're just not making the time. And don't get me wrong, I think sometimes like we genuinely need that decompressed TV time. Sometimes we genuinely need that, like, I just want to sit here and eat a bowl of chips and chill out by the fireplace. Like that's what my body needs right now. And I really do believe in honoring that. I don't think we need to make such harsh lines around everything. But I do think that if you're worried about time and commitment, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. You can decide to sacrifice some time, some places in like hour blocks here and there. It doesn't have to be this, if I don't have 6 hours a day to dedicate to this, I'm going to flop. You feel me? So we also have for you the card of courage, which this to me really just says like, I think there's a lot of fear. Those of you that chose pile number 1, there is a lot of fear, even maybe around money and being able to like afford your lifestyle. But there's also the fear of putting yourself out there, be it in some kind of career position or being in like an entrepreneurial field, being in like a creative field. There is this like, I feel like your spirit guides are really coming through to, oh, I'm sorry. Why is it always 3? I feel like this has happened before, and I wonder if the same person has picked this pile. I feel 3, I don't know if they're guides or archangels, which technically you could argue that archangels are also guides, but there's definitely 3 that are really giving you this power of courage. And they all are exuding different color energies. One has a blue energy, one has a green, and one has a pink. And the green is very healing. The blue is very emotionally supportive. And the pink is coming out as a lot of like self-love. And I'm seeing that you need the pink more than any of the others. Like the other 2 are good and that's why they're there, but the pink is the one that is really coursing through your entire body. Like there is a very big lack of self-love in this. And there is this like lack of confidence that you are needing to tap more into. And I would say as these guides surround you with this, just be open. Like I feel it in my entire body. It's very calming. Like it's not a scary feeling. It's a very calming feeling. Wow. Your guides just love you so much. Holy crap. They really want whatever this is that you have been looking into to succeed. Like you really are the best host for this. I'm just trying to take all that in. Wow. I hope y'all feel it too. Whoever that was for, it might have been like a few of you, but I hope y'all like really feel that energy too. This is very powerful. We also have for you the card of safe home, number 39. this to me is really just here to remind you that your home life is safe. If you're worried about bills and money and things like that right now, your home life is very safe. Like, you're not going to lose your house. Your home is safe. And that is a safe space for you. Even if you just have like a room in that house, there is safety in being there. That environment is also being blessed by your guides right now. I'm hearing like there is a lot of protection, especially in your bedroom. That is the room where like maybe some of these creative thoughts and stuff need to start coming out, or these new ideas, new ways of manifesting income. Like, it's going to come when you're at home. You're not going to be hit with this intuitively outside. And those of you that have been worried about your home is very safe. We also have for you the card of companionship. When you fully bless and embrace your aloneness, you're ready for the ones who are meant to be with you. May I welcome this solitude, knowing it will open the way for all healthy relationships. So I feel like for some of you, you might be afraid to take on a certain kind of work or passion or career because you're afraid that it will ruin the relationships that you have, or maybe the relationships you have are not supportive of this. And Spirit is reminding you that it doesn't mean that all these relationships are going to die, but some people cannot come with you where you're going. And you need to trust that the right people are going to come in. And we also have for you the card of withdrawal, which has a fox on it. I don't know how well you can see it, but this card really just talks about like withdrawing into yourself, withdrawing into like even into your bedroom, going to bed to like do a meditative practice, or I don't know why I'm getting such a strong pull towards the bedroom, but there's definitely like needing to withdraw from the world for a little bit and consider this. I also often speak to you all about creating planning days, creating like what, it's not even a planning day. It's like what I would consider a quote unquote inspiration day is, where all you do is sit down with a notebook and a planner and just do research. Do research on schools if you're looking to get back into a specific field. Look into research on YouTube channels where there's information, either if you want to be a content creator, what do you need to start looking into? Or there are so many things on YouTube that you can figure out how to do just about anything. It's like kind of just withdrawing and getting this time to just study out what you want to do. I think that is something that has been missing, maybe because you're afraid of the answer. And ultimately, I think you're going to be filled with so much courage and passion from withdrawing and giving yourself this time that that's really where this huge breakthrough is going to come through. And in terms of finances, I want to encourage you that your home life is very safe. So you don't have to worry about your stability right now. But I don't necessarily see any like huge financial windfalls. I think this one was really more career focused for you. And again, like if you are able to, or that's like what you're into, or maybe that's what you were looking for right now, please try to just be open to that divine guidance, because I've never had an experience like that in particular. They were genuinely giving you so much. And that's all that is missing also, is just being open to receive it, just being open to accepting that divinity in, because that's kind of the thing with guides, is they can't always act unless they have your permission. And they have so much that they want to provide for you energetically that would really turn the tables for you. So that is what I have for you, pal number one. I hope this reading resonated well with you. I love you so, so much. Please do not forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. If you would like to tip me for this reading, it is not a requirement, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, my Venmo, and my PayPal listed down below for you. Like I said, I don't expect that, but I do always put that money back towards the channel. I buy cards for the channel. We're currently still saving for new camera equipment and stuff for in here so that we can really get this space upgraded and make even more polished videos. And if not, there is also another way to support the channel. Of course, there is the Patreon, which gets you extra videos, extra content, things like that. So definitely check out the Patreon if you're interested. We do weekly energy readings. Often I'll do like a new or a full moon reading. I feel like a lot more specific readings get put on the Patreon, and bonus content, printables, things like that. So definitely check it out. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. All right, pile number 2. If you chose, excuse me, this pile, this one is going to be for you. So we have for you the Page of Cups reversed, the 10 of Cups, the Hanged One reversed, and this is not, it's Judgment. Sorry, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, wait, is it, because there's 2 cards I feel like in the major arcana that is it Justice and Judgment, or like it's, I can't think about it right now, but this one is Judgment. But in any case, I don't know why I always do that, especially with this deck. I get this card confused specifically, but it's Judgment. But I feel like for you, with your career, with your finances right now, I feel like there might be, there's like this lack of emotional fulfillment going on, because with the reversed Page of Cups, normally this is like a very romanticizing of life. And I feel like there hasn't really been that. But what I think is so interesting is you have the 10 of Cups, and the 10 of Cups is like the happy family, the house, the emotional fulfillment from like your legacy in family. And I also would say in like manifesting your desired life. So I feel like it's almost like you got something recently that you really have been wanting for a long time, but it didn't fully meet your expectations. And this could be in work or outside of work, or in your career and finances, or like, I feel like there's something in your day-to-day life, in your relationships, that's affecting your career life. Maybe you even work with your partner, or there's like or maybe you're like in a family business. That could be it too. It could definitely be like family business. But I see that there might be like some kind of lack of satisfaction there. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that there's a lot of good things, especially with the 10 of Cups coming out upright. I think there's a lot of good things, but there's something that maybe doesn't feel right. And I don't think you've totally put your like, you don't know what it is yet. Like, there's just like maybe feelings of like, oh, why do I feel like this about this? And with the Hanged One coming out reversed with Judgment, I feel like this, I apologize, this is Justice. I don't know why with this deck in particular I get this flopped. I think I have a couple of decks that give similar depictions, but this is Justice. So with Justice, I mean, I would have read it the same way because the energy and the imagery of the card, but still, it was driving me nuts that I like literally had to just go pull up the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery because I couldn't place it. But, and that's on if y'all are thinking of starting like spiritual businesses, maybe some of y'all needed to see that even somebody that has been reading for years and years and years can still forget things, can still like mix match things. And like, that is totally normal. So I think maybe some of y'all needed to see that, to be honest. That's why it was happening. But when we have the Hanged One in the reverse and Justice reversed, this to me says that there is a major imbalance. Maybe there's an imbalance of like distribution of finances in the house, or there could also be just like an imbalance. Like, I feel like you're feeling underappreciated. That's what I'm hearing. Like, there's like this undervalue in terms of either finances or career. There is this lack of feeling valued and appreciated. And it's like, you want this dream to be a reality, this 10 of Cups. You want to bring more into your life, but it's just not, like, it's not making sense, and it's making you feel very stuck. I feel like the hanged one in the reversal like that, often it is like this putting ourselves on pause. But I feel like when we see it in reverse, this is like a forced pause. This is the universe said, slow down and take stock because you're not moving forward until you do that. And I think that's been very frustrating for you. I'm getting a lot of like frustrated energy, a lot of overwhelm, possibly even with this. There's definitely this, it's funny too. I feel like this 10 of Cups, it really gives me the imagery. It's funny because I have a friend that talks about this, that would come up. It'd be even funnier if she picked this pile, but because she watches my readings too. But this is like creating a space, like buying land and creating a space and like wanting to live off of your land and not just like rely on the structures that the world has put in place in terms of finances. You kind of wanting to like break off onto your own. And I feel like there's just like a lot of stress around this. There's a lot of like just tired of how things are being done in your life. And it doesn't have to be quite as broad as that. Maybe you don't desire that kind of life, but it could also just be that you just are tired. Like you're really tired, pile number 2. You are really tired, and you're tired of the lack of empathy. You're tired of the lack of notability, like where you are being recognized for your efforts. And I feel like you're being asked right now from your spiritual team and from your higher self, what is it that you actually do desire? It's time to get very clear on that. Now, we also have for you, communication is key. A personal issue reaches resolution, and your hard work is oh, this makes me want to cry. I'm like in my feelings today, or spirit is just strong today. I don't know. I feel like pile number 1 had a moment too. Communication. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say sorry. I feel like a lot of us are crying apologizers, and we should not be. Crying is such a great release. But with your hard work is paying off, I never pull this card. And this is what like kind of got me in my feels, is I never pull this card for anybody that hasn't given 120%. Like you have given your all. You're doing your absolute best. And I feel like there is like, this card actually comes with a relief. It's the, oh my gosh, I've done something and now I'm finally seeing my work pay off. And maybe this has been a long time in coming for you. And it feels good to let that kind of lapse over you. And oh my goodness, like things are finally falling into place. Money is coming in. The career that I've wanted is finally making sense to me. And I feel like you have given so much energy that the idea of being put on pause and like having an imbalance of things is such a stressor for you. Like this is something that is genuinely very upsetting because you have given this your everything. But Spirit wants you to know that your hard work is paying off. Pausing and asking and recalibrating is paying off for you. And it hasn't come to you without struggle. Like it has been hard. And they just wanted to like really take that into noticing you for that. We have a personal issue reaches resolution. This to me is about your home dynamic. Like if you're wanting to move house, change your environment, I feel like that is what is going to be on the horizon next for you. Maybe you're somebody that actually works from home and you're able to go somewhere else now. But there's definitely like something on the home front that is changing, something in your day-to-day environment. Now, if you work like 12 hours at a day job where you're not at home, I feel like this could also apply to that. Wherever you spend a lot of your time, there's a resolution that is coming, and it's time for you to speak up about it. If there's something that feels unfair in your work environment, it's time to get higher up management involved. It's time to start communicating your needs and your desires. I feel like we often think that we can't do this. And don't get me wrong, there are some unreasonable people out there, but most people, not everybody, but most people, when you go to them with a truly open heart and a desire for change, and you are just totally vulnerable, I know it's very scary, but you are just vulnerable. Most people, I believe that the world is a good place. I believe that most people are inherently good. I actually believe that all people are inherently good. Some people have just kind of had that good stamped out by really hard experiences. I believe that all people are inherently good. And if you can hit somebody at their heart level of where they are, oftentimes, like, they're going to be more open to what you have to say. And that's not like a manipulation tactic. That's a letting yourself be seen and heard. And oftentimes it gives the other person permission to do the same. And with communication is key, I feel like you haven't maybe spoken up enough about what you're desiring, about what you're wanting, maybe even just speaking to the universe. If this isn't a job type thing, maybe speaking into existence what you actually want. Like, I can tell y'all from personal experience, every time, I don't think I have had a single time where this has not worked. And maybe it's just like my powerful way of manifesting, because I feel like for everybody it's a little bit different, but not everybody. Like, some people might manifest like this, but I feel like whatever your strong suit is where it's going to come out. So like, for some people it'll be writing, for some people it'll be talking, for some people it'll be praying and thinking and meditating. Like, it depends on what really works for you and what you resonate with. But when I speak things into existence, 10 out of 10 times it happens. Like, I think I've told so many stories on this channel, and I probably should make a whole manifesting video of like my manifestation success stories, because I have quite a few. But whenever I speak things, oh my gosh, do you see this candle? Y'all are getting a cleanse on your emotions and on your throat chakra. So whoever, like, speaking is your strong suit, really hear this, because this is a throat chakra and an emotional balancing candle. And y'all are getting cleansed. Not only did this flame just shoot up, but it was like emitting like a little bit of black smoke. Y'all are getting a cleanse. But when it comes to manifesting, when I speak things out, like, one time my husband and I were really poor, like very, very poor. We're not going to be able to make rent, etc. And I was just like, Andrew, it's my husband's name. Andrew, let's go to the mall and just window shop. Like, I have an idea. And he was totally not on board. He was like, fine, I'll go with you. I'll play Pogo. He loves Pokemon Go. I'll play Pogo, but like, you do you, I'll do me. And I was like, all right. So I walked by every single window display in that mall and I said, I'm so rich, I can afford that. I'm so rich, I can afford that. I'm so rich, I can afford that. I'm so, like, to everything that I saw that looked like something I would want to wear or I would want to own, and I shit you not, within 2 days, I had like some insane amount of money materialize out of nothing. Like, my husband got a crazy bonus that we weren't expecting. I got an unexpected refund check. Like, so much stuff came together, and I think we manifested like over $2,000 just in. And then my husband was like, okay, you're onto some witch shit. Let me get into that. And then we both started doing it and everything just kind of started changing. But I have a lot of stories like that. Like, I have one that's more recent that I can't talk about yet because totally spoke it into existence. And when there are contracts and stuff signed for it and I can talk about it, I absolutely will be making a story time or something. But I even have like the recorded proof of that one. So that one was crazy. But anyways, sorry for being so cryptic. We'll get into that another time. But I feel like for you, that might be a powerful tactic for speaking career and finances into existence, is just speaking it, communicating it in any way that feels right. I do feel like with a Gemini new moon, Gemini is the voice communicator, where Virgo would be like written communication or something. So I do feel like you have a strong affinity for speaking things into existence. Then we have the card of gratitude and inner power. Ooh, okay. So with gratitude, this one says, fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for you for wherever I go. And then we also have inner power. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. So I hate when we get gratitude stuff, not because I don't think gratitude is powerful, because I really do believe that it is. Gratitude has gotten me out of some of the darkest moments of my life, but I also feel like sometimes we can't get to a grateful place. Sometimes you are so in the thick of it that it's really hard to be grateful. And I don't think you can gratitude your way out of everything. I don't. I think that would be very toxic to assume that we could. But I also don't want to say that gratitude isn't for everybody, because it is. Everybody has the ability to tap into the energy of gratitude. It's what our life experiences, what we've been through, and how we perceive things, and the stories that we attach to things that can make it more difficult for others than some. And I do want to remind you, like, that shouldn't stop you from trying to find gratitude in your life for things. But don't hurt yourself doing it. Don't feel like, oh my God, if I don't have a grateful heart, nothing good is ever going to happen for me, because that's frankly not the truth. You have the inner power to will just about anything. But with gratitude, this is kind of a call to maybe start a gratitude practice. You can start by just listing 3 things in the morning. I find that to be really great. I also really like when I'm like really sad. It takes time to get into it, but it really does, or has worked for me. It may not work for you. You try it out and let me know. I play the grateful game with myself. That's what I call it. I got this from a church leader like 15 years ago. And I don't even do church anymore. It's not my thing. But it was basically, you go down the alphabet and you choose something for every letter of the alphabet that you're grateful for. And of course, my beautiful, wonderful husband's name is Andrew. So I always start with my spouse. That's an easy one. But you just kind of go down the list, and every time that makes me feel better. Whether that will work for you is totally up to you. I think everybody has different methods, but I do think it's time for you to start incorporating a gratitude attitude, because when you are able to incorporate gratitude, that is when more of that energy starts to show up for you. More things to be grateful for actually start materializing. And with inner power, this is saying, like, don't doubt yourself. You have such inner fire, inner power, inner worth that you can tap into. And it's not this like super hard thing to do. It's not like, oh, you have to go meditate on a mountain for like 20 years before you can step into that fire. No, you literally could stop right now in this moment, turn everything off, go into a darker closet, as long as, dark closets feel safe for you. Obviously, if you have like claustrophobia or something, maybe go somewhere more open, go wherever feels comfortable and quiet, where you're not going to be disturbed for like 10 minutes, and just breathe. There's no like specific pattern, but and I know this because I used to put myself to bed this way as a kid without even knowing it was a thing. If you breathe in, but when you exhale, you make the exhales longer than the inhales. I learned that trick from my friend Hillary. Like, I didn't know that was the exact formula, but I used to do this as a kid, and breathe in for 5 seconds, breathe out for 7. And not only do you calm yourself naturally, but it allows you to actually let new information come in. When you're actually focused on the breath and you're dedicated to bringing your mind to that focus, that to me is how you can slip into that inner power. That is how, for me, that's how I slip into it. That's how I'm able to call it up. And the more you practice that, the easier it becomes. If your mind trails off and starts thinking about things that make you worry or give you anxiety or whatever, just gently bring it back. Something that I like to do, this might be kind of funny, but just hear me out. If I start to have like thoughts that are trailing off, I will imagine the Monsters, Inc. doors, like Disney, the Monsters, Inc. doors. And I'll imagine whatever that thought is closing behind a door and then like going up into like the door. If you've never seen the movie, you're not going to know what the hell I'm talking about. But if you've seen the movie Monsters Incorporated, it's such a fantastic movie. One of my favorites. I imagine like that door just like going up the door escalator thing and going away. And then I just focus back on the breath. And that's all meditating is. It's a practice of focusing on the breath. And when your thoughts get away from you, that doesn't mean that you failed. You just gently nudge them back. And that to me is where that inner power is going to come through for you. We even have these little light symbols to me that really kind of showcase breath coming in and out of the body. We also have for you best possible decision. And creativity. Oh, I love that you got creativity. That's beautiful. So I feel like, and it's 33. 33 is a master number, which means like I believe everybody has the innate ability and desire to create. It is this weird paradoxical universe that sometimes like knocks it out of us. Everybody has a desire to create. It doesn't mean that everybody is a painter or everybody is an author, or there is so many hundreds and I would say even thousands of ways to create. Everybody wants to make things. Everybody wants to make something with their own abilities. And it's time for you to step back into that. With best possible decision in terms of finance and career, I do feel like whatever you've been thinking about career-wise is a good choice. Like maybe you've kind of had people like doubting or naysaying your idea. This is a good choice for you. You're on the right track. And if it allows you to have some like creative freedom or purpose or passion, that's another way you're going to know you're on the right track. We also have for you the card of enjoyment. Striving and pushing makes life into endless hard work. The more you're inviting love to take over, the more enjoyment comes. Allow me to enjoy this life, dearest universe. So I think that's something else that your big picture with money and career is missing. A lot of us have been very conditioned to believe that in order to have something good, we have to work extremely hard. I myself fall into this category, so I totally get it. We have to work extremely hard and put out tons of content or work 12-hour to 16-hour days at work, and that's how we'll make it, because I think that was the previous paradigm. And what we're finding is that paradigm doesn't work, especially in America, which is where I'm based out of. You know, that paradigm doesn't really work for us, and it's not conducive to a good human experience. And I feel like for you, something you haven't prioritized in your vision for yourself and your career and your money is not just being comfortable. I think there is a lot of this like, oh, I just want to have A, B, C, and D, live a simple life. That's the end. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on minimalism. I think minimalism is a beautiful thing. I think it reduces a lot of world harm, and it's great for some people if that's what you desire. But I think you also forget that you're going to want to have a budget for enjoyment or have extra excess for you to just enjoy life once you feel you have hit that comfortability. And that is what Spirit is saying that you're missing from this vision, is you're not meant to just struggle and hustle and grind. You need to set intention for your life to actually be enjoyed. You know, I'm hearing this like maybe one of you or some of you have like prayed basically to the universe or to source, to God, whatever, and said like, I'll do the work. I'm not scared of work. You know, I just want blank to be different. I want my money to be different. I want my career to be different. And Spirit is saying, no. Like, yes, it's okay to ask for different, but you don't have to like surrender your entire whole being to just being miserable in order to make it happen. And that's part of what is missing. And then we also have for you the card of transmute. I'm actually going to read this one out of the book because I think I've seen it maybe one other time. I'm not especially familiar with what this card entails. I'm looking for my book. Here it is. So we're actually going to look at this one in the book that came with the cards. And again, I link all of the cards that I use down below. Oh, this is number 44. I don't think 44 is considered a master number. I think that's only 21, 11, 22, and 33. But 44 is still an angel number. That's been very significant in my life as of the last couple of months, but it's just like when you see like 444, 44, maybe the number 4 is lucky for you. But it says transmute. Within you lies the ability to make dense energy churn into a lighter and higher vibration. You can do this in response to constructing situations, difficult relationships, or blockages within your internal landscape. Sometimes we do not need to consciously, did I say constructing? It's constricting. Within your internal landscape. Sometimes we do not need to consciously work at the issue, but simply have the intention of doing so. This card is an invitation to identify that which needs to shift and creating a sacred container for what you want to transmute. This is literally what we've been talking about. Like, you need to really give yourself the time to go inward, to create that gratitude experience. That is the container that is going to hold this new vision for yourself and allow you to have the financial needs met, have your home life needs met, your career needs met, but also have room for enjoyment. That's what has been missing for you. And I hope this reading resonated with you. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor. If you would like to support my channel, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal. I do accept tips for my readings. It's not an expectation, but it is certainly appreciated. I put all of that money towards new card decks, candles, crystals, camera equipment, anything that we need for making better quality content for you. That's where all of that goes. Unless you tell me otherwise. Some people will put notes in like the Venmo and stuff and be like, girl, go buy a coffee or something, which is so sweet of y'all. You're so kind. But that's where all of that goes unless y'all tell me different. So or if you want extra content for yourself while supporting the free work that I do here, I do have my my Patreon, where I have exclusive readings. I have weekly energy updates that go out, printables, bonus content, and I feel like we have a tighter knit community on Patreon because there are a lot less of us too. So I feel like you get a little bit more like raw content, which is really cool, and I love the community that we have there. So if you're thinking about joining, please do so. I put out new stuff over there every single week. And that is what I have for you. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so much, Pumpkin, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Number 3, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading on career and abundance. So we have for you the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Swords reversed, the 8 of Wands reversed. Oh my gosh, okay, sorry, no. 2 8s. I read this in my brain. I heard 888. No. Maybe that's a lucky number for you though, 888. The 8 of Swords, the 9 of Swords reversed, the 8 of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. And I'm just going to tell you right off the freaking bat, pile number 3, that y'all are way too in your heads. Like, there is this very big energy of just overthinking and feeling very paralyzed by your mind. And I say that because this to me is a very overwhelming reading. And I'm feeling like not super heightened, like I am overwhelmed. I know it's like a foreign energy to me. It's not mine, but I'm feeling this like frantic need to feeling like you have to do everything, and it is overwhelming you. The 8 of Swords is being paralyzed by our thoughts. We're not actually stuck. And I say that because the 8 of Swords, if you've ever really looked at the imagery of the 8 of Swords, the bindings on the woman are very loose. You could tell that she would easily be able to slide out of them. And with the swords, like, yes, we see a bunch kind of around her and in the front, but again, they're not surrounding her from the back. She could go away from this place. She could undo her blindfold. She has the inner power to change it. She's just not. There's just this paralyzed feeling of being stuck right here. And honestly, it's that fear that kind of will hold us there. And I'm not telling you this as a way of, oh, it's you that you just need to fix your shit. Like, no, this is very real. It's a very real feeling, a feeling like we cannot move forward because our mind is keeping us right here. And it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery and a lot of self-work to push through that paralyzing feeling and decide to remove the rope and take the blindfold off and walk the other way. It's not something that is easy for everybody because frankly, sometimes we need a little bit more tools to help us get through that process. And there's no shame in that. And I just ultimately what I'm getting at is don't blame yourself for being here. That's the last thing you want to do is put shame on you or blame on you for being here. Like everything's my fault, basically. It's not. Oftentimes there are extenuating circumstances that have made us believe that we're just stuck right here. And it's okay to ask for support and help in undoing the bindings, pulling off the blindfold, and removing the swords. I will say this on a more positive note, we have the Nine of Swords in reverse, which I feel like this is actually a good thing in the sense that the Nine of Swords is usually very anxious energy. It's very in our heads. We're not sleeping. We're having a lot of insomnia. There's us just not really feeling good in our own skin. We're constantly worried and in distress. But when it is reversed, I feel like this is actually the quelling or the calming of the anxious feelings. It's the us trying to wrap our head around how this could change and really like removing the blockages and removing this like mental idea that we have to sit and overwhelm. And I say that too because the Eight of Wands is usually a lot of opportunity or things coming towards us. But with the Eight of Wands reversed, I actually feel like things are going to start to slow down a little bit. And I think right now you actually need that. I mean, that's not to say that you're missing opportunities. This to me is that you've just had so much on your plate that you haven't even been able to consider taking a break, feeling better, getting yourself to a place where you feel like you can just feel good. And I think a lot of it is because there's been all this stuff on your plate that's kept you from doing it. And this to me is that kind of slowing down. There's not going to be as much on your plate, and you're coming into a season where you're actually going to be able to really replenish yourself. With the Ace of Cups, I feel like that's really what we're getting at here is this deep desire to replenish and refill our cup with self-love, with positivity, with good things that make us feel good. And that is ultimately the direction that you're headed right now. Now, in career and finances, with all of this, I feel like many of you are very confused on what you actually want to be doing. And you keep telling yourself all the reasons why you can't do it. And on top of that, if you've received any opportunities, I think you don't actually have a fear of failure. You have a very serious fear of success. And I think this is actually very common. And I say that because I think you've actually seen some success. You've seen in your career or in what you've been pursuing, or maybe you've like received some money when you've tried to work on bringing more abundance in. But it's almost like you turn around immediately and don't believe in your ability and don't believe in yourself and think you're very unworthy of receiving. So that really is what needs to be worked on the most. And that, I think, again, is where you're headed right now, is this direction of how can I fill me up so much that I won't question the good things that are happening for me. So let's go ahead and keep looking at some cards. We have nothing will come of this situation with the void of course moon. We have you and your loved ones are safe with the new moon in Cancer. And we have it's time to release negativity with the full moon in Scorpio. So if you're seeing this reading as it is new, granted, my readings are always timeless, but if you're seeing it when it comes out, this is actually coming out during Scorpio season, which Scorpio season is a purge of negativity. It is the purge of really self-transformation into transforming ourselves and our lives and our well-being into something that we actually really desire. So I feel like for you, that might be a really big topic for you right now, just transforming your life into an idealized version. Now, with nothing will come of this situation, wherever you've been really stressing and sitting in this Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, reversed Eight of Wands, wherever that has been coming up for you, these like self-limiting beliefs or things that you think are going to come true, this is actually a really good card to have here surrounded by these cards, because this is nothing is going to happen. Like the things that keep you up at night and you think are going to happen that are so terrible, nothing is going to happen. Everything is actually working out better than you ever could have imagined. And you and your loved ones are extremely safe at this time. Like there is truly, I think pile number 2 also had some stuff about safety, or no, that might have been pile number 1. I can't remember. I'm sorry. One of the other piles talked about home and safety. I think it actually might have been pile number 1. It was pile number 1 talked about home and safety. And I feel like with this coming out, if you felt drawn to pile number 1, they might have a link there, but you and your loved ones are safe. This is just to remind you that you and your loved ones are so safe right now. Financially, stability wise, you're coming into a time period where things feel safer. So you're able to fill yourself up more. And it's time to release the negativity. I actually kind of want to pull the book on this one. I never read from this book, but I feel called to look at it. So let's grab the book. This is just the book that came with the tarot deck. Sometimes people are like, where'd you get that book? How do I buy that? It's the book that actually comes in the deck box. And we have, so let's look at, oh, I flipped right to it. So it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. If you've been feeling paranoid, so these two cards, these two sword cards, very paranoid energy. If you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop. Worrying yourself is pointless. We're going to talk about this a little bit more after this because I think there's definitely more to be said here. I think this so far is actually kind of a little bit toxic. So hear me out. Stay with me until I finish it. It's time to release any negativity you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time since both full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense. It's time for you to feel all of your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. For some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now. If you make an effort, use your magic. You have all you need inside you to bring about what you desire. So the only thing I want to touch on with this is that if you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. I don't like that line personally as somebody that really studies the realm of psychology. I don't think that's like, oh, you feel anxious? Stop. That's not really how that works. And we know that. You can't just stop sometimes. There is a lot that has to kind of go into that. There's inner child work, healing modalities to study. There's more to it than just stopping that. So I just wanted to point that out and remind those of you that that's not always an acceptable answer. Sometimes we can move away from things that are harming us and we can have the ability to stop, but sometimes we need a little bit more. We need to go through more cleansing. We saw this in another reading. I think it was pile 2. Got a crazy candle cleansing. That's what this is. Whenever the candle jumps like that, it releases wax from the bottom and it shoots up a little bit of black smoke. And this is clearing. So you're getting throat chakra and emotional clearing as well. I want to say it was pile number 2 that also happened for. So take that energy. You take that good ass energy, pile number 3. But as I was saying, sometimes it takes more than that. Sometimes it's not just this thing that we can just stop. And I think that's actually a very toxic way of putting it. Now, I love Yasmin Boland. I think she's an incredible creator. I support all of her work, but I just think the phrasing could have been a little different there. Sometimes we can't just stop. It's not that easy for everybody. And that's not to discourage you from trying. It's that sometimes we need to garner a little more tools. We need to enlist the help of a therapist or there's just more. It's not just the act of stopping or not having the willpower to stop, because I think that often can actually lead us to shame cycles and feeling ashamed that we can't just stop because that's normal for everybody else, when in reality, it's not. Most people actually don't just stop behaviors like that when it's something that has become very obsessive or really difficult for our mental psyche. So that's what I'm getting at is, yes, it's time to release negativity. Maybe make a ritual out of it. Maybe do something a little bit more or ease yourself into change. It doesn't have to be this abrupt thing. But ultimately know that I do feel like at the end of this Scorpio season, you're going to be feeling a lot better about your career and finances. And you are going to, I think it's a lot of these emotions that are going to be put to rest. So we also have for you invite help. And we have I literally just said inner child to you. That's crazy. We have invite help. Invite the divine to pursue you. Seriously, just say, I'm finally ready, universe. Pursue me. So those of you that really want to get into a more spiritual aspect of your life, get into spirit guides, archangels, or maybe none of this sounds good to you. Maybe it's like crystals for you or nature energy or, whatever really sparks your curiosity. That's a fantastic way to invite that energy in, is just to say it out loud. I'm finally ready. Universe, pursue me. Or God or source or divinity, whatever that is for you. Like, pursue me, please. And I think that ultimately, I think it was during pile number 1, we had like a really crazy spirit guide experience in pile number 1. And that to me is very much that helping energy of having your spirit guides actually give support and you feel that support, because it's always there. You just may not be feeling it because you're not aware of how to tune into noticing it. And this is really to me about like spiritual help, but this could also be about physical help, like having the help of someone you love and trust, getting help from a therapist. That came up earlier as we were talking. If you're able, I understand that is something that maybe is not accessible to everybody. But I know that there are online sources that maybe could be considered. I don't have any experience with BetterHelp, but I've heard that BetterHelp is a really good one. So I do feel like with inviting in help, that could also be physical help in the form of people. And then with inner child, allow me to give compassion and love to this little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. And I really love this card. I love inner child work. To me is some of the most profound and powerful work that you can do in the spiritual realm. Like, I consider it very spiritual. It doesn't have to be spiritual. For me, it's a very spiritual experience, but I feel like it is one of the best things you can do for yourself, especially if you're dealing with a lot of this energy up here, like we've been talking about. Inner child work is almost what is demanding to come to the forefront in why do I have all of these fears? Where do they come from? Oftentimes they do come from an earlier time in our life where we didn't have the emotional support that we needed. We maybe felt abandoned by someone really young when we didn't have the ability to understand what was happening, right? There's so many ways in which the inner child feels traumatized or afraid or scared, and that plays out in our adult life if we are not aware consciously of it and taking steps to really comfort that inner child. We all carry an inner child that I think only in more recent history are we as a collective becoming more and more aware of that a lot of adults are just children running around screaming at each other because we haven't I don't want to say dealt with because that sounds negative, but haven't soothed that inner child that all of us carry. So this is a strong call to inner child work. I would highly encourage, if those of you are interested in like more psychology information about this, I don't think there's been a specific video made, but my best friend in the entire world, this is not a collaboration or anything. I just genuinely believe in this work so much. And even the content that she's made thus far has opened my eyes to even more. But my best friend in the entire world just launched her YouTube channel this past week. I think it was last week or maybe the week before. I think it was last week. And she's doing like work on psychology and talking about it and just like bringing your whole self back together. And I guarantee you she'll probably cover inner child work at some point. She just covered shadow work, which includes the inner child, and it was really beautiful video. I'll put her channel down below for y'all. So if you want to check her out, definitely do. I think that her content is very thorough and really what the world needs at this time. And I think you can expect great things there, to be honest. And, it's just, I feel like even that video, like I said, I'm telling you about this, not because it's collaboration or anything, that that video like helped me understand more. So definitely check out her channel. I'll link it for you. We also have for you the card of abundance and harmony. So before I talk about these, I love that we got abundance in an abundance reading. I do feel like with inviting help and inner child, there might be some blocks around career and finances for you that are stopping you from actually creating the desired outcomes that you are wanting. There's something here that feels very blocked, and that is the areas in which to focus on to work on pushing through those blocks. Now with abundance and harmony, I love this. I love that you got an abundance card in a reading where we're focusing on abundance and career. This to me is just a direct shout out from the universe that says abundance is already on its way to you. There is definitely abundance coming, and you are not just going to have enough to survive. You're going to have enough to thrive. And with harmony, this is about creating harmony within yourself again, reclaiming your peace. And I think that's something that maybe has been really lacking in your life as of late. Now, we also have for you this card of confidence, which says, divine confidence is completely different from the bravado of the ego. You make space for something larger to take hold. Please fill me with your confidence, oh love. Grant me courage I never knew I had. So something else that's funny that would come up, my friend that I just mentioned, their YouTube channel, Hillary, she's great. She also made a TikTok recently that I really admired, and it was like, I apologize if I'm stumbling over this one because I don't remember it exactly, but I want to say the message was like, the opposite of like fear or anxiety is confidence. Like, it's not lack of fear. It's not removing the fear. It's becoming very confident in the area in which maybe there was a lot of fear and a lot of worry and a lot of anxiety. So I feel like with career and finances, you need to start doing the work that will allow you to be more confident about the direction that you're taking, because that is what is really lacking. And Teal Swan talks about this a lot too, that if your whole self is not on board with what you're doing, if you stop to tend to the parts of you that are not ready to, or are afraid or what have you, to move in a direction and really work on that before you move, you will like shoot beyond what you even had considered, because every part of you will be on board and like ready to do this thing, ready to move your career in this direction, make the abundance that you're looking for. So really work on attuning to your confidence. Where you feel worry, like I said, that could be a strong indication of where you don't feel confident, and work on your confidence there. And lastly, we have the card of the void for you. And I think it's interesting because we got the void of course moon, but we also got the void. And I do feel like in the coming like few weeks, maybe a month or so, you are going to be entering a space that feels difficult, because the void is a difficult place to be. It kind of lacks sustenance in the sense that we're not being fed spiritually. We're not being fed mentally. It's just kind of this empty, limitless, liminal is maybe the better word, space that everything just feels kind of dark and lost. And I'm not telling you this because I think you should be scared. Honestly, I've been in and out of the void multiple times this year going through a Saturn return, and it sucks. Like, it's not fun. But ultimately, every time that you enter back into the world, or you come back into the space where you are grounded and heart-centered and ready to be there, everything feels so much more beautiful. And I kind of actually want to read the book on this one too, because the void, I think even collectively, we've been seeing a lot of. Like this came out, I think, on my Patreon. It was like one of the cards of the month a few months back. And I think it was very true for where we were. Okay, let me see. The void. Here we go. So we have the void. The void can be deeply uncomfortable. It is nothing. An emptiness that penetrates all aspects of self. We may feel blank. What we were once passionate about feels cold to us. We may not be able to see or sense anything about where we're going next. We may enter a void after all that we have known is not what we thought it was. It may feel like disbelief. It may feel like you don't have any faith. It may feel like you don't know what is real and what is not. This is the part we must surrender to. This may also indicate a time where you are questioning everything you believe in, spiritual beliefs, or questioning your significance in the world. When you are in the void, you may have an instinct to fill the empty space. Because we can get uncomfortable here, we may miss some of the lessons. We are taught to constantly push forward. The void teaches us to be still and okay with uncertainty. Trying to escape this space ensures we stay here or return sooner than we would like. You may have an instinct to fill the emptiness, but remind yourself that emptiness is a prayer. I'm going to leave you with that message because I think that is a great description of what the void is like. And again, it's not fun, but it comes with its own lesson. It comes with its own. There's like no other way to put it. It is a one of the deepest blessings that you can receive, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And I do feel like where you're going, the void is actually going to be necessary, especially as you start to replenish yourself. You might need that deep sense of rest that the void brings. And I think that's all I have for you, pile number 3. So good luck with career. Good luck with your finances. Trust this finances, though. I really do feel like finances are going to be on the rise for you, and they're going to come to a really harmonious place, which I'm very excited for you for that. And please do not forget to follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. If you would like to tip me for my readings, it is always appreciated, never expected. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below for you. I do accept tips. I put everything towards cards, candles, crystals, camera equipment. It all gets poured back into the channel to providing better content for you. So it's certainly appreciated. Again, never expected. If you would like to support my channel and the free work that I do here, another great place is the Patreon, where you support the channel, but you also get content for it. So you get early access to my readings, extra readings, weekly energy updates, printables, and bonus content. I am literally uploading on the Patreon every single week. I have been since May of this year. There's a lot of backlogged content with timeless readings that as soon as you join, you get access to the whole library. So definitely check it out if you're interested. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon.